timeline leading to the events of September 7th, 1996, is reconstructed through a compilation of court transcripts, law enforcement surveillance logs, and contractual agreements filed in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. To understand the trajectory of the investigation, one must first examine the documentary evidence surrounding the subject's affiliation with Death Row Records, a partnership that fundamentally altered the security landscape around him. According to legal filings dated October 1995, a handwritten agreement was executed at the Clinton Correctional Facility in New York. The document, signed by Tupac Shakur and Marion Suge Knight, outlined the terms of bail in exchange for a 3-album commitment. Financial records indicate that Death Row Records posted $1.4 million to secure the release of the subject. This transaction is cited by investigators as the moment the subject's movements became inextricably linked to the operational patterns of the record label, which was arguably under federal scrutiny at the time regarding its business practices and associations. Intelligence reports from the Los Angeles Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation had already begun to document a rising pattern of friction between two distinct coastal factions within the music industry. These files date back to November 1994, following an incident at Quad Recording Studios in New York City. Police reports from that night indicate that Mr. Shakur sustained multiple injuries during a robbery in the lobby of the building. While the 1994 case file remained open with few leads, statements given by the subject in subsequent months publicly attributed the event to associates of a rival record label. This attribution, though never substantiated by criminal charges at the time, established a motive for future conflicts that law enforcement agencies monitored closely. By the summer of 1996, the atmosphere surrounding the subject was characterized by heightened security concerns. Logs from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department indicate that on the weekend of September 7th, the city was hosting a significant boxing match between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. The influx of visitors included high-profile figures from the entertainment industry, creating a dense overlap of rival factions in a concentrated geographic area. Hotel records confirm that the entourage associated with Death Row Records had booked a substantial block of rooms at the Luxor Hotel and Casino, serving as their primary base of operations. The sequence of the evening began to crystallize around the scheduled time of the boxing match. Ticket manifests show that Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight occupied ringside seats. The fight itself was brief, concluding in the first round. However, the critical evidentiary window opens immediately following the event. as the attendees exited into the MGM Grand. Surveillance footage recovered from the hotel lobby provides the most objective account of the subsequent altercation. The time stamp on the security tape reads roughly 8:51 post-meridian. In the footage, the subject, accompanied by a large group of associates, is seen moving through the crowded casino floor. Investigators reviewing the tape identified a specific individual, later named as Orlando Anderson, standing near the banked elevators. According to intelligence files maintained by the Compton Police Department, Anderson was identified as an affiliate of the Southside Compton Crips. These same files noted a prior incident weeks earlier at a Foot Locker in Lakewood Mall, where a chain with a death row emblem was reportedly taken from an associate of Mr. Knight. This background is essential, as it provides the procedural context for the physical confrontation that ensued in the lobby. The video evidence shows Mr. Shakur approached Anderson. A brief verbal exchange occurred, though the specific dialogue was not captured by audio recording equipment. The footage then documents a physical altercation initiated by the subject, followed immediately by the intervention of the surrounding entourage. The skirmish was chaotic but brief. Security personnel at the MGM Grand responded, but the group dispersed before individuals could be detained or formally questioned at the scene. It is noted in the investigation's retrospective analysis that law enforcement officers present at the hotel did not file an immediate report regarding the lobby brawl, and the individuals involved were allowed to leave the premises. This failure to secure the scene or identify the participants immediately created a significant gap in the chain of custody regarding potential witnesses. The specific identity of Orlando Anderson was not confirmed by Las Vegas authorities until later in the timeline, after reviewing the tapes in the context of the subsequent fatal event. Following the departure from the MGM Grand, the timeline shifts to the movements of the convoy. Witness statements and valet logs place Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight at the Luxor Hotel shortly after the altercation. The purpose of this stop was to change clothing and regroup before proceeding to a scheduled performance at Club 662, a venue operated by Death Row Records. At this stage, the composition of the convoy is relevant to the forensic reconstruction of the night. Records indicate the lead vehicle was a 1996 black BMW 750IL, registered to Death Row Records. Mr. Knight was operating the vehicle, and Mr. Shakur was seated in the front passenger seat. Notably, investigation reports highlight that despite the earlier physical confrontation and the general high-risk environment, there were no security personnel in the vehicle with the subject. the bodyguard assigned to Mr. Shakur, Frank Alexander, stated in later depositions that he was instructed to drive a separate vehicle, a request that deviated from standard protection protocols. The convoy, consisting of approximately 10 to 15 vehicles, departed the Luxor and moved toward the club. The route taken was east on Flamingo Road towards Koval Lane. Traffic citations issued that evening provide a precise location for the BMW at approximately 10:55 post-meridian. Bicycle patrol officers stopped the vehicle on Las Vegas Boulevard for playing music at an excessive volume and for the absence of license plates. The interaction was brief. The officers released the vehicle with a warning after finding the plates in the trunk. This documented police interaction confirms the occupants of the vehicle and their condition less than 20 minutes prior to the critical incident. As the convoy proceeded, the logistical formation became fragmented due to heavy traffic conditions on the Strip. The BMW 750IL moved ahead of the trailing vehicles. The separation of the primary vehicle from the support cars is a crucial detail noted by reconstruction experts, as it left the subject exposed at intersections. The route brought the vehicle to the intersection of East Flamingo Road and Koval Lane. Traffic light sequencing data indicates the signal was red, forcing the BMW to come to a halt in the center lane. To the left of the BMW was an empty turning lane. To the right was a vehicle occupied by two individuals who, according to later interviews, recognized the subject. The timeline freezes at approximately 11:15 post-meridian. A white Cadillac of late model make, four-door sedan, pulled into the turning lane on the right passenger side of the BMW. No license plate was noted by witnesses at the scene. The occupants of the Cadillac were not immediately visible due to tinted windows, a detail that would later hinder the identification process during the compilation of photo lineups. At 11:15 and several seconds, the quiet of the intersection was broken. Witnesses described a rapid succession of audible reports. Forensic analysis of the scene would later recover nearly a dozen brass casings from the asphalt, consistent with a .40 caliber semi-automatic device. The trajectory analysis suggests the projectiles were discharged from the rear passenger seat of the Cadillac directly into the passenger side of the BMW. The reports detail that the subject was struck multiple times while still seated in the passenger seat. Medical records generated later that night indicated 4 distinct entry wounds, 2 to the chest, 1 to the arm, and 1 to the thigh. One of the projectiles entered the chest cavity, causing significant internal trauma to the right lung. Mr. Knight, in the driver's seat, suffered a minor injury to the head, reportedly from fragmentation. The immediate aftermath is characterized by a chaotic response sequence. The Cadillac fled the scene, turning south on Koval Lane. Despite the presence of the convoy behind the BMW, no pursuit was effectively mounted, and no license plate number was recorded by the associates trailing the primary vehicle. This lack of actionable intelligence from the immediate witnesses is a recurring theme in the case file. The BMW, now damaged with 2 flattened tires, made a U-turn against traffic and proceeded aggressively down Las Vegas Boulevard. The vehicle was eventually brought to a halt in the center median, near the intersection with Harmon Avenue, by patrol units responding to reports of the incident. Officers at the scene initially treated the event as a felony traffic stop, ordering the occupants out of the vehicle at gunpoint before realizing the nature of the injuries sustained. According to the official police report filed by Sergeant Kevin Manning, the first responding officers found the environment difficult to secure due to the density of tourists and vehicular traffic. Paramedics from the Clark County Fire Department were dispatched at 11:17. Their reports indicate that Mr. Shakur had sustained multiple injuries and was struggling to breathe, a condition consistent with a punctured lung. He was extracted from the vehicle and transported to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. During the transit, reports state that the patient drifted in and out of consciousness. According to statements later given by the responding medical technician, when asked if he could identify the person or persons responsible, the subject was non-compliant, offering no names or descriptions before losing consciousness. This would be the final statement entered into the record by the subject. Upon arrival at the University Medical Center, the patient was admitted under the pseudonym Unknown Male to prevent media leakage. Hospital records show that the individual was rushed into surgery. The trauma team identified significant internal injuries. The operative report details the removal of the right lung, a procedure known as a pneumonectomy, which was deemed necessary to stop the internal bleeding. Following the surgery, the patient was placed in a medically induced coma. While the medical team attempted to stabilize the subject, the investigation on the ground faced immediate jurisdictional and procedural hurdles. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department secured the BMW for forensic testing, but the scene at Flamingo and Koval had already been compromised by passing traffic. Shell casings were recovered, but the initial canvass for witnesses yielded limited results. The investigation also suffered from a lack of physical evidence linking a specific suspect to the scene. The white Cadillac was never recovered. Rental car records from agencies in Los Angeles and Las Vegas were subpoenaed. generating thousands of pages of documents. But no vehicle matching the description was intercepted in the surrounding perimeter. A significant procedural obstacle noted in the case file was the lack of cooperation from the entourage following Mr. Shakur. Investigators attempted to conduct field interviews with these individuals. The reports indicate a uniform refusal to provide detailed statements. Officers noted in their summaries that the potential witnesses were hostile to law enforcement inquiries, citing a street code that discouraged interaction with police. This silence created an immediate intelligence gap. One exception to this silence initially appeared to be Fula, a member of Mr. Shakur's musical group, who was in the vehicle directly behind the BMW. According to initial notes taken by detectives, Fula indicated he might be able to identify the occupants of the white Cadillac. However, follow-up procedures to secure a formal identification failed to materialize. Records show that attempts to arrange a photo lineup with Fula were delayed by jurisdictional complexities and communication breakdowns between Las Vegas investigators and legal representatives. Before a formal interview could be conducted, Fula passed away in an unrelated incident in New Jersey 2 months later, permanently severing that line of inquiry. On September 9th, 2 days after the incident, the investigation shifted focus toward the jurisdictional crossover between Las Vegas and Compton. To bridge the intelligence gap, Las Vegas detectives reached out to the Compton Police Department. A fax transmitted from Compton detailed the affiliation of Orlando Anderson and the Southside faction, providing a theory that the event on the Strip was a direct retaliation for the altercation in the MGM Grand Lobby. According to internal memos, Las Vegas detectives traveled to Compton to interview Anderson approximately 1 month after the Las Vegas event. During the interrogation, Anderson denied any involvement, claiming to have been in the hotel at the time. Without physical evidence placing him in the white Cadillac or a witness willing to testify, investigators could not secure an arrest warrant. On September 13th, 1996, records indicate that the patient's condition had deteriorated to a critical point. At 4:03 post-meridian, the individual was pronounced deceased. The coroner's report listed the cause of death as respiratory failure and cardiopulmonary arrest related to the injuries sustained. With the expiration of the subject, the inquiry shifted from an assault investigation to a homicide case. The autopsy was conducted the following day, September 14th. The report listed the individual's weight as 215 pounds, a figure that sparked questions due to it being higher than the individual's driver's license weight. Though pathologists noted that fluid retention from the massive medical intervention accounted for the discrepancy. Following the autopsy, records show that the remains were released to the family and cremated on September 14th, less than 24 hours after the time of death. Forensic analysis of the BMW offered limited utility. While the trajectory of the projectiles was mapped, the interior of the car yielded no foreign fingerprints or DNA that could be linked to an assailant. The vehicle was impounded, processed, and eventually released. The lack of a recovered weapon, the missing vehicle, and the total absence of cooperating witnesses created a legal deadlock. The district attorney's office reviewed the available files and concluded that without a weapon, a confession, or an eyewitness identification, no charges could be filed. The case entered a dormant phase. The files were archived, consisting of witness refusals, inconclusive ballistic reports, and surveillance tapes that captured the preamble to the violence, but not the act itself. The failure to secure the scene immediately, the reliance on witnesses who refused to speak, and the inability to locate the getaway vehicle stood as the primary procedural failures that defined the investigation. The official record remained static, a collection of facts that pointed in a specific direction, but failed to arrive at a legal destination. The events of September 7th remained, in the eyes of the law, unresolved.